Let that sink in. It's a number that just doesn't sound real. It's faster than the top speed of a Formula One car. It's more than double the speed of the fastest tennis serve ever recorded. And on April 14th, 2023, it became the speed of a badminton shuttlecock fired from the racket of India's Satwik Sairaj Rankirti. But this wasn't just about setting a new world record. This was the explosive climax of a hidden arms race in sports. It was the result of a decade-long battle of engineering and athleticism, all aimed at shattering a barrier that many thought was impossible. This is the story of how science and sheer human will collided to create the fastest smash in history. Section 1. The impossible barrier. For 10 long years, one number stood as the Everest of badminton speed: 493 kilometers per hour. Set back in May of 2013 by Malaysian powerhouse Tan Boon Hiong, that speed was the absolute benchmark. For a decade, it seemed to push the very limits of what was humanly and technologically possible. It remained completely untouched, a monument to just how difficult this feat was. See, to even get close, you need more than just a strong player. You're literally fighting the laws of physics. The drag on the shuttlecock, the flex of the racket, that tiny millisecond of energy transfer, every single element had to be perfect. The question keeping engineers and athletes up at night was a big one. How do you build a weapon and train a person to go beyond the absolute known limits of your sport? Breaking the 493 kilometers per hour record was one thing, but a new, almost mythical number had taken hold. In the minds of designers, 500 kilometers per hour. It was a clean, round number, a psychological wall that represented a whole new era of speed. To break it wouldn't just be an improvement, it would be a revolution. The quest was on. Section 2. The technological arms race. So, how did we get to 565? To understand the weapon, you have to understand the century-long arms race that created it. It all started in the early 20th century, with rackets made almost entirely of wood. These things were heavy, often around 400 grams, with tiny, unforgiving sweet spots. Power wasn't limited by the athlete. It was limited by the wood itself, which was heavy and couldn't handle the stress of a truly powerful swing. The first big leap forward came in the 60 seconds and 70 seconds with the switch to metal, steel, and aluminum. Rackets were a revelation. They were way lighter and stiffer than wood, letting players swing faster and hit harder than ever before. But metal had its own problems. The frames were still pretty clunky by today's standards, and they didn't have that perfect blend of power and control. Then came the 1980s, and with them, a material that would change racket sports forever: graphite. The move to carbon fiber was the single biggest game changer in badminton history. Graphite had an incredible strength-to-weight ratio. Suddenly, engineers could build rackets that were 35–40% lighter and twice as stiff as the old wooden ones. Racket head speed soared. Players could unleash smashes that seemed to defy physics, and the whole pace of the game just accelerated. The foundation for modern power had been laid. Section 3. Forging the weapon. The graphite revolution opened the door, but to blow past 500 kilometers per hour, engineers had to master every single detail. Today's rackets aren't just light and strong, they're masterpieces of aerodynamics and material science. Enter the Yonex NanoFlare 1000Z. This is the racket that made history. Its entire design philosophy is built around one word: speed. The frame isn't just graphite, it's a composite wonder. It uses a mix of advanced carbon materials, some first developed for the aerospace industry, like M40X and EX Hyper MG. These are placed in very specific spots in what Yonex calls the sonic flare system. High modulus graphite at the top and bottom of the frame acts like a slingshot to maximize repulsion, while the thin, contoured arrow frame is designed to slice through the air with almost no resistance. The result is a racket that's incredibly stiff for power, but also ultra-lightweight and aerodynamic, for mind-blowing swing speed. But it doesn't stop there. The shaft is super slim to cut down on, drag even more, and it's built with ultra PE fiber, a material so light it can float on water, yet strong enough to handle immense force and absorb nasty vibrations. And then you have the strings. Rankiardi's record smash was hit with Yonex BG80 strings. Think of them as the final piece of the energy puzzle. When strung at high tension, they create a brutal trampoline effect, firing the shuttlecock off the string bed with ferocious speed. It's the perfect marriage of a super-fast frame and an explosive string bed, a weapon forged for one purpose. Section 4. The athlete, the other half of the equation. Of course, a perfect weapon is useless without a warrior who can wield it. While racket tech was leaping forward, a parallel evolution was happening in human athleticism. The other half of this record is Satwik Sairaj Rankiardi himself. Commentators have long used words like raw power and relentless aggression to describe him on the court. That's not just God-given talent. It's the result of cutting-edge sports science and a brutal training routine to generate the kind of force needed for a 565 kilometers per hour smash. You need more than a strong arm. It's a full-body explosion, a kinetic chain that starts from your toes and ends at your fingertips. Modern badminton training is obsessed with developing this explosive power. It's all about plyometrics, building a rock-solid core, and perfecting rotational speed. Faster footwork gets the potness player in the perfect spot. A strong core transfers the power from the legs to the upper body, and flawless technique makes sure every last ounce of energy is channeled directly into the racket. Rankiardi's technique is the perfect match for the NanoFlare 1000Z. His explosive jump, rapid body rotation maximize the racket's head speed, and his whip-like wrist snap unleashes that final burst of energy at the exact moment of impact. He surpassed Tan Boon Hyung's decade-old mark by an incredible 72 kilometers per hour. The 500 kilometers per hour barrier wasn't just broken. This record was born from a decade of relentless innovation and pure human dedication. But if history has taught us anything, it's that every barrier is made to be broken. What do you think is the next great barrier in sports? Let us know in the comments below.